Okay.
You hear me all right? I hear you all right. So we got
Yeah.
all that. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's 4 people waiting.
Let's see here. We got. I'm gonna turn it on the phone and see. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, there's 4 people in the house.
Cool.
Let's see here. Make sure the sound's good. The dog is here. We got five
Dog is
souls.
here.
7.
Yeah, I may
We
put
got
her in.
7. Juan Jose Vallejo Savicos, my brother's in the house. Brent Ritchie, Candy Lewis, Dina Doucet, Garrett Petra. Yeah. So it's 11 people and counting. This is your show. It's a SoulogyOneStudios production. It's your show, so you roll it out.
Awesome. So we're live now?
Yep. We got 16 people in the house. Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. It's Michelle. Sorry. Dog just come in. There. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the weekly show. I'm Michele Phillips, and I have Todd Medina with me here today. And the lovely Sasha's down here. So if she gets a little too noisy, we'll just let her in the house so she doesn't interrupt all the wonderful things we're going to talk about today.
Okay, you got backup. If you have to get up, you got backup.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, you've been doing a really good job. This is just from my perspective as I'm trying to spearhead building this thing. And, I look at Soulogy and I look at the SoulogyOneStudios production, Soulogy Network, whatever you want to call it. I look at it as a reflection of the universe and self-reliance of the soul. And nobody does anything for you. You got to do it yourself, and you apply your own creativity and imagination and intuitive skills to what you're doing. And that's what you've done. That's what you've done, and I appreciate you, and I know people do because I get messages from people and I see the comments they make. So,
awesome.
Big props to the goddess.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge it feels good to hear that. It really, really does. Yeah. I keep losing my place.
Well, you said you started talking about it before because I said, so you want to talk about We Are Worthy. And you said you went to see Abraham Hicks.
Yes.
Start from there. And you said Abraham Hicks told you, but when did you go see Abraham Hicks?
It was September 1st. So 9
D-Day.
In the 11 year. Yeah, the very first
D-Day.
Yeah, like perfect.
August 31st, I was on my knees again. I was like, oh my God. And I just want to say this. I've said this on a couple of shows, but I put that video out where I was crying and everything. And I talked about it last night. And a lot of people were concerned, like, hey, what happened? And It wasn't that. It was just energy. It was the energy. I see it as the dive before the rise.
Yeah.
And so I was standing in Zavetta's kitchen, and I just heard all my voices aligned as one, human, multidimensional, and just said,
yes.
you know what you need to do. And I'm like, okay, fuck it, and I just went out there and I don't even know what I said, but the thing is it was an energetic, processing or embodiment or release or all the above and everything else that I don't know of. So I just want to make that clear. But the point was, it was on August 31st.
The end of.
Yeah, the end. Yeah. And so September 1st, I woke up and I felt great. So you went to see Abraham Hicks. So I bet you felt great. So what happened? What did she say? What did she say to you?
Well, it was so amazing. When we got off the elevator, there was a lineup of a few hundred people. And so we just waited in line and got in there and went and had breakfast. And she was only taking a few people to the hot seat. So I'd put it out there long before that I wanted to be in the hot seat. So when she called my name to go in the hot seat, I think I squealed. Just kind of, I was so excited. And I got up there and I completely forgot what question I had. It was just because you're just so like, wow, like you're standing in such an amazing energetic presence. So I just kind of had to stop and feel it for a second, right? And so she was very patient. You know, she just adjusts the mic and, you know, says to take a deep breath and start talking. Okay. And I told her how the trip had come up, that I actually won the trip to see her. So the first thing I said to her was, I drove 12 hours to see you today. And I said I won this trip from somebody that I don't normally get email from. And I got the message that I won, and it had originally been for a California event. And I knew that California was not, I didn't really feel like California was a place I could make it to. So, but instead of shutting it down, I just left the options open to see, you know, well, what else is possible, right? And it turned out that it was an open-ended ticket, and we were able to search for the closest location to me. And we rented a vehicle that gave us the best gas mileage. It was fun to drive. It was peppy. It was really, and it was a Prius too. Who would have thunk it?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. I couldn't believe it. It was like driving a little sports car, which I had fun driving on the freeways down there. Let me tell you, it's not like around here. Oh my God. Y'all are crazy. So I'm on the stage and I'm telling her that, you know, so this happened, and I was amazed at how this worked out. And then this happened, and I was able to find the dog sitter, and I was so amazed because it's the Labor Day weekend, so usually everybody's booked up, but no, available. And so I was just amazed at how everything was working out for me. And she's, why are you amazed? Don't you know you're worthy? This is, you should start expecting this on a regular basis. You are worthy, not because something made you worthy or because you're doing this or you're doing that thing. You're worthy just because you were born here on the leading edge of creation. And it was just, oh my goodness. It was just like total epiphany. Like everything is working out for you. And she was pointing at the vortex and saying, everything that you've ever decided through contrast, which is, you know what is wanted and what is unwanted in every moment. For example, if you go to the store and you want to buy 2% milk versus skim milk, right? Yeah. Something as simple as that. You're still putting into your vortex the things that you desire versus the things that you don't desire, right?
Right.
And all you have to do is line up with what feels the best for you, not what you think you should do or what other people are telling you you should do, but what feels in alignment for you.
Yeah. And
you will never go astray if you follow that alignment.
Yeah.
And you're worthy. Don't be surprised when things work out for you. Things are always working out for you in the highest way.
Yeah. I like that. I like what you said too. You were born onto the leading edge of creation. And then what you're saying too about alignment in the moment.
Yes.
You know, as you take each moment and you align in the moment, you're literally paving the way of what we call in the linear the future.
Right.
You know, it's like the vortex gets clearer and clearer and clearer. And I think I feel that this month I've received it. Now that's just my own universe, but I've received it for almost a year and a half that this is the month of completion.
Yeah. I think a lot of us have had that feeling. And even she had said on stage that she had talked about things that she had never talked about before. So even it was all brand new, even going there. Just she had never had these same conversations. She was just feeling the newness of it all. Is how she was kind of putting it. It's hard to remember because it's an amazing feeling when you're in that seat, because it's like time just stands still. and then you can't remember a thing that happened afterwards. So I have to wait till I get the MP3. I bought it to get the copy of the hot seat time.
So
oh, yeah.
I've listened to her, you know, and I know I've watched, you know, I don't watch a lot of stuff, but I know I've listened to her and watched some stuff, but I may not have been watching the screen, but listening.
Yes.
Because I do that a lot. Yes. So the hot seat, that's kind of like the way Muji does it when he brings somebody up. Is it the same? Yeah.
Yeah, there's about 1,000 people in the audience, and she starts off saying, she calls it whack-a-mole. She says, you're all going to raise your hands, and we're going to be like this. And she showed a picture of, you know, somebody playing whack-a-mole, because you're all going to think it's you that we're inviting on stage, but it's not. Y'all need to calm down and pay attention. And she then showed a video of a whack-a-kitty. So it was softly, no, not you. No, not you. No, not you. Yes, you, right? So she was picking out very specific people that I'm guessing Abraham tells her to pick out of the crowd too. Yeah. Because everybody who went up and spoke, we all got some different perceptions of what was being said, if you will.
Yeah.
There was one person who went up, and it was really interesting because afterwards she was sitting close to me, and we had talked later, and she was really kicking her butt about being when she was in the seat. She's like, oh, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to at all. It wasn't right. It wasn't right. And my perception was, are you kidding? Like, because what I got out of what she was saying to Abraham was, and Abraham's response was that we don't need to justify what we're seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, because it's all our individual, unique experience. And she got talking about sentient beings, and it was almost as though she was waiting for Abraham to justify, saying, yes, you're right, or you're wrong, or explain what these sentient beings that she was seeing were. When the point of it is, it doesn't matter. It's your experience. And if it's real for you, then it's real. And that's all that matters. And don't let other people focus or point you in a direction that they want you to go in. You go in the direction that you want to go. Yeah. You know? And
you go in the direction you want to go.
Yeah.
And don't you know, I mean, because it's one thing, people will say things anyway. Oh, why are you doing that? Or that was stupid, or da 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 da. That's one thing. So you can that's one way it comes at you, and you can just say, okay, that's not my business. That's not me.
Exactly.
That's your choice. Or we also will do stuff and say, oh, am I doing the right thing? You know, am I doing the right thing? And you know, that's another thing. Another way that shows up, and both of them are just empowering.
Yeah.
If you feed that energy.
Because the only one you need to ask if you're doing the right thing is yourself.
Yeah.
Because you'll have the answers within. Everything we need is already here for us.
Especially now.
Yes.
Especially now. And it's interesting too, because I watched this energy through my hot seat. Right? But for 7 years, I watched this energy in myself, in people close to me, in the whole crowd. And wow, I mean, over the last month, you know, there's been a lot of stuff come in our face, and people, you know, just all kinds of different emotional, you know, projections and just all these different things happening.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the confidence, the spiritual confidence, the fearlessness of the soul, the courage of the soul, the love and trust of the soul, you see in the expanded awareness of more and more people exponentially every single day, you know? And so it's exciting to me to see. I was talking to Amanda Lawrence. I think we did a show. I think it was the first of the month.
I think it was, because I just watched it last night.
Yeah. And I said to her, we should get together in 30 days and see what it looks like, because she actually brought it up. She said, yeah, in 30 days it's going to look totally different. And I mean, I absolutely believe that, you know. I just it's happening. And I think 9/9 is going to be huge.
Yes. Yeah, that's the new moon, isn't it? On 9/9?
I think it is. I think it is. Yeah. And then again, you know, and I'm just starting to really pay attention to this stuff. We're going to do a really cool show on Saturday with Stephen Obey.
Okay.
And he's very, very much been in service to the Mother Goddess for 15 years.
Nice.
And he was on a couple of weeks ago, and I've been following him since I came off the streets about 5 years ago.
Okay.
But anyway, he's going to do a show on how the Matrix, we're going to do a show, how the Matrix is set up on the solar calendar, you know, corporations, governments, this and that, and how with this Mother Goddess energy taking hold, we're actually moving to the lunar, you know, which is the stars and the planets and all that stuff, which I find, I don't know much about. I said, well, that's great. I'll just be the audience and ask the questions just like we usually do and learn with everyone else, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't, it's part of my nature is to be very inquisitive and ask questions. And I've always been the type of person who, you know, if there was something in front of me, I had to pick it apart and see how it worked and put it back together and take it apart again and figure everything out, right? So, you know, the astrology and numerology and the way that all these things work out, and then having been brought up in the religious community, I'm now finding that I can almost translate the codes, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, for example, I remember I had one of my parents would talk about the book of Revelation and wonders in the sky and all that. And there was one thing that happened, and it was actually last year's Lionsgate, which I don't know if any of the religious people noticed what it was or not, but it talks about the virgin in childbirth and labor, and she gives birth to a king. And anyway, bottom line is what it was the constellation Virgo, and Jupiter entered into the womb for 9 months and then came back out. And that's when all this mass awakening and this huge shift started happening, like a year ago, Lionsgate. Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness. And it's like, yes, like there's so much wisdom and so many clues and things out there, and it's fun and exciting to decide what they are. We don't need to be afraid of them or, you know, judge them. It just, how cool is it all, you know, that it's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah. And he was telling me, the reason it came up was because after we did the show, he sent me, I think it was called an astronomy calendar or something to that effect.
Right.
And that's what it did. And he told me, he said, I've learned to plan everything around this. Yeah. And I thought, well, that's too complicated. Right? But then as I'm seeing this stuff happening, like over the last month, for instance, a month ago, I walked out of the hotel and I've never studied the stars too much, but I see this big red star, and I knew it was Mars. Okay. And it was in a direct trajectory in front of me. Yeah. And it started speaking to me, you know. Wow. And that's when I started processing all this masculine, false toxic, the final dregs of this masculine stuff. Yeah. And I hit my knees and surrendered. And then the interesting thing was, as I'm watching over the last 2-3 days, and I'm seeing this whole masculine energy rising and this feminine energy kind of going, oh, well, you're getting here, you're here. But it's like, it's a new masculine, you know. And then I saw a lot of the women after I did that show were saying, man, I was on my knees all day on the first, and then I come out and I see somebody says, oh, Venus just went into retrograde. So there's the feminine energy. So I guess, you know, there is some rhyme to the reason there.
Oh yes, yes. I think I even mentioned there's a part in my book that I mentioned, and like I'm Canadian, so I followed the U.S. politics. Do you remember when I think it was the Affordable Care Act, which got dubbed as Obamacare, came in? Yeah. And you guys had to sign up on a certain day or whatever. Yeah. That day, Mercury went into retrograde. Yeah. And I think the government's computers crashed and everything went awry, and because Mercury rules communication and computers. So if your computer is buggered up and it's during Mercury retrograde, just go with it, because it just happens.
Yeah.
Plan for delays and the unexpected. But if you know how to navigate through these retrogrades, you can really learn a lot and use them to your benefit, right? Because it's all about retro, like you're looking over where you've been. So you can kind of, if you need to course correct, or maybe you just need to give yourself a huge pat on the back because you're doing awesome, right? So it's...
Or maybe you just need to go into a room and close the door and turn the lights off. and hide. Yeah. And hide, right? You know?
Yes.
I mean, it's like, we spend so much time, and granted, it's necessary. It's been necessary, but this shadow work, and with reaching out to the universal in whatever form it communicates with us, it's just aligning with our multidimensional aspects and receiving these memories and this and that. But what I'm saying now is it's the human. It's the human. It's like aligning all your human aspects. Yeah. Zavetta had an idea on her show tomorrow night she wants to do. And she came to me and she says, I want to do a show on drinking and smoking on the light. And I'm like, what? And she said, but when I got here this week, she explained it to me. And she said, the whole gist of it is what you do in private, why wouldn't you do it in public?
Yeah.
And I went, whoa. Yeah. Because that's really what it is. That's really what the whole thing is. And somebody put a post up today and said something about, stop trying to be your sexual energy, your emotional energy, and all the different ones. Spirit, just be them all. And the only way to do that is to align in the moment publicly.
Yes.
And I don't know if that means everyone needs to get on the camera and cry or whatever the case is, but there's something to be said for the things that we do that, as my good friend Lori English says, we put a mask on. Yeah. We put a mask on it and we show the public one thing, and the public can be one person. Yeah. And yet we're somewhere else with it. This is, to me, the nitty-gritty final frontier of the unveiling that we call ascension.
Exactly. Yeah. And letting people, like for me personally, it's been a journey of letting my family know who I really am, because I always felt that I had to hide who I really was, because I always felt as though I was judged for being different, because I knew I was different. But now if they judge me, well, I don't care. It's not my job to fix them, which is such a huge revelation for me, because I always felt that I needed to point them in the right direction. And what I realized is that by pointing at what I perceived as their misdoings, I was actually feeding the judgment that I was feeling myself, right? So it was just like, wow, like it really is all about you. It's this world is the center of your universe. We all are our own little universes. That's just so fascinating. Like,
and I love that. I love that because what's happening is it's becoming a simplicity. It's something that was so far removed from us because we were looking first through religion, through heroes, through this and that, externally, answers, books, this and that. And now it's come, and even in the light worker circles. But we had to get jump started. So you have all these people that for years and years have done all this work, and they had all this stuff that they put out, and it was important. And it is still important. Yes. But it's all coming back to here. And so what ends up happening is the simplicity, which I'm not saying is easy, but the simplicity is like, okay, the minute I start to make a comparison, well, you do that, I'm really saying you do that and I do this, or you do that and I don't do this. Or, you know what, the minute I start to compare, that's a judgment.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter what people are doing.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It only matters how you feel about what you're doing.
Yeah. And like Abraham Hicks told you, a line in that moment, and I can see this through, I'm just like, I can see it. I can't really, I don't know if I can put it into words, but
I know it like the projector.
But it's like you have a flashlight. And you and by aligning in that moment, that light just starts to your path just starts to be in alignment. So you're walking into situations where there's less contrast, and it's easier to be it's easier to find that 0 point of alignment.
Exactly.
What else did she tell you? Did she tell you anything specific about you, or what did you ask her?
Like I said, I'm still kind of like trying to remember a lot of it, right? Because you're just so.
That's how I am. People will say, "Hey, that was really good on that show. What y'all said." And I'm like, I don't even remember. I can't remember.
I know, right? Yeah. What she had said. Well, okay. One of the things we talked about, because somebody had been talking about, like they were talking about resistance and how. And she puts it as croaking, like when you die, you croak. She said, we all make too much of a big deal out of that. She said, what it really is the complete absence of resistance. And when that moment happens, it's utter freedom. And so people will get on the other side and they're like, what were we so worried about all this time? Oh my goodness, this is a happy place. This is awesome. You know, big party over there. Like, so we keep it simple. We're doing this to ourselves. Get out of your head. Just go have fun. It's all about having fun.
Align. Right? That's what's been coming to me over the last few days. And I get all this. It's not coming from me. It's just, we're all getting it. It's a compilation of the you and it, whatever we're doing. And it's like, okay, well, how can I break this down to just a simple 1, 2, 1, 2, one step after the other, like she said, aligning in the moment. And that is everything that comes to me. I just, regardless of how it makes me feel, whether it makes me feel upset or it makes me feel warm and fuzzy and anything in between, just send it right into the heart. Just pound it in there and trust that you actually doing that. You know, like trust it. Just say, okay, I'm going to send this right here. Hold it for a second. And then anything that comes out of here comes from the heart. So that's the 1, 2 I'm trying to get my arms around. And kind of like, you know, become a regiment, you know what I mean? A habit, and just do it, you know. And that's alignment for me. I mean, I'm like everyone else. I'm trying to find the easiest, most comfort and graceful way to do it.
Yeah, and it's about, like you said, it's right now. It's like I don't worry about how I'm going to pay my bills next month. When it's the day to pay the bills, I do it, and I'm not even looking at what money's in my account anymore because it doesn't matter. I'm worthy. My stuff is paid for, and I'm not going to look at it. It's the way it is, right? And then when my bills are paid, I'm not going to be surprised that my bills are paid anymore. I'm not going to question how it happened. I'm just going to say, yay, that was awesome. More of that, right? So she said, we are pointers. So whatever you're pointing to or at, you are creating more of. So if you're pointing at something that you don't want to experience, like say your phone is ringing off the hook and you want it to, you know, you don't want to be bothered. So you're like, oh, my phone just won't stop ringing. It just won't stop. Well, your phone's going to keep ringing. Just something as simple as that, you know. What do you want?
Good point.
What do you want to feel? Point at it and go with it. And there's a way to reword everything. Like there were people talking about, okay, this bill is due and I don't have the money. What do I do? Well, you don't think about it. You just do it. And it's hard to grasp the concept because when you're in this reality, you know, so it's everything you can hear, smell, taste, touch, you know, it's hard to realize that what you're seeing is not the actual reality of things. And when you surrender and just let it go and don't worry about it, somehow, some way, it will work out for you in your highest good. You just have to keep knowing that and not let anybody pull you away from that.
Or yourself.
Especially
which is the biggest one. But I like too what she said about what the human calls death. And that it comes when you release.
Yes.
and surrender. And so you could also drill it down and say each one of these moments is like it's like a little death, you know.
Exactly.
Instead of having these big giant, Todd sit on the back porch and bawl for 45 minutes. We can have these little ones, though.
Yeah,
I think that's where this completion has come. It's like the circle's becoming complete, like she told you.
Yeah.
You are worthy. Why would you be surprised? So it's like you're it's almost like a shock. Oh,
I know.
Yeah, it is. Okay. It's like she said about the death. We get to the other side and we go, oh, what were we so worried about? So
that's exactly. She says you'd be amazed. Y'all get over there and you're all so happy. And you're like, what in the world were we ever worried about? And it was just like, oh wow, that's really cool, because I'd seen that on my grandmother's faces. I told her about it because I was lucky to both of my grandmothers before they passed. They had both been comatose for a certain amount of time, and both of them, I had like the deathbed moment, where they open their eyes and I love you, I love you, I love you. It's all about love, love, love.
Wow.
So, and one of the grandmothers was very, very religious, and I always got the feeling that she didn't like me very much. And because, I was a little bit of a rebellious kid, told me not to do things. Well, watch me, so my halo was on fire at one time, right? So when I saw her, and I knew this would be the last time I'd see her alive, then I just held her hand. And I just kind of poured my heart out, and I apologized for everything that I had done on purpose to upset the family, and, my part and everything that, and she had been unconscious for about a week and a half at that point. And all of a sudden her grip was on my hand. Her eyes just flew open, and they were like looking around everywhere for something to focus on. And she was just, I love you. I love you. I love you. That's all she could say. It doesn't matter. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'd never seen her look happier, which doesn't make sense, right? Because she's dying, but she never looked happier, more at peace or more joyful. And the same thing with my other grandmother. She had been put into the morphine coma. And so we were all kind of waiting for the moment to happen. And so we were in the hospital down in the family room. And then all of a sudden we could hear her. And she had been deaf since the day she was born. So she didn't, to hear her talk, you knew her voice. And I remember just all of a sudden, I love everybody. I love everybody. She's like screaming from down the hall in the hospital. And we all go running in there. And even though she had this, like her face was like that death mask that you hear them talk about, her eyes, they were just so alive and so vibrant. And she was, and my sister was talking to her. She's like, do you see her husband's name? And she, yeah, he's waiting. Yeah, I got, like, in other words, she was like, I gotta go. I love you guys. It's been swell. I got places to go. I got things to do, right? Like, she couldn't wait to get out of there. And it was so baffling until I, sat and I pondered it. And again, Abraham confirming it over the weekend. Just, wow. It's, like, I don't think I will ever be the same. Actually, no, I know I'll never be the same. Everything is just so, it makes sense now.
So what was it like being in a room? What was there, a couple hundred people or something like that?
Probably about 1,000 people.
Wow. So what was it like being in a space in the physicality where everybody is coming from, obviously, I would imagine the vast majority was coming from a place of, a desire for expansion, pure intent, unconditional love. What was that like? Was it, could you see it, touch it, feel it? Was it a powerful energy?
Yeah, I would say you could. It was almost like goosebumps without the wave, but like a constant tingling feeling of goosebumps. And everybody was just so happy. Everybody, whether you knew them or not, were hugging you. gentleman next to me, I heard all about story and he heard all about mine. And then there was somebody, actually the lady who sat across from me, and we became friends from the event, and she's working with James Cameron now on a screenplay for something. So wow. Yeah, I'm supposed to be in touch with her on Thursday, so that'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. And it's just phenomenal, like the energy of the place, because everybody. And when I got off the out of the hot seat and came back down, everybody was coming over saying, "Oh wow, you did so great! That was awesome! That was awesome! That was awesome!" And I was just like, "What? Huh? Really?" Yeah. Thank you, because I wasn't concerned about how I did. I was there for the message, right?
Yeah.
You could hear other people saying, "Oh, I hope I didn't look ridiculous," and it's like, who cares, man?
Right. Like, there's that, but you know, but I think there's that mask we're talking about, and there's that. Yeah. It's like getting past the point of embarrassment, suffering, and pain.
Yeah.
But I do think that you have to kind of go through those steps. You can't just say, okay, today I'm going to be brave and I'm just going to, you know, show my ass to the world. I notice it with people that come on, like even with you. You were pretty relaxed through it though. So you like the first time someone will come on, they'll be a little bit nervous and they'll usually ask me, how did I do? And I'm like, you did fine. And then the next time they're a little bit more calm, and then the next time they're calmer, you know. And then it's you know, it's a really good feeling for me to see people.
Yeah.
Like Amanda is a perfect example. Amanda Lawrence.
Oh, she's sweet.
Yeah, because I chased her for about 3 months last year, and then she came on, and you know, and it went on for we did 5 or 6 shows over a couple of months, you know, and then we went, you know, we kind of did our own thing, and now like she put out 2 powerful ones in the last 2 days. I mean, she's just so natural with it now. And I think that's what happens. We get past the point of embarrassment and we realize that everybody, you know, goes to the potty and all that stuff, you know, we're all the same. And it's not, and so where I see this shift is, you know, well, you talk to the Arcturians and you understand the planets and you're connected to Mother Mary and all that differentiation that is separation.
Yeah.
Okay? And so what ends up happening is we drill it down on because the only thing that we have in common is pure love, because that's what we are. But it's like the path to that is this human who laughs, cries, passes gas, burps, you know what I mean? We all do it. And when we, you know what I mean? It's like the human is the hero. The human is the answer. The humanness is what really unites us.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's about being real, you know? If somebody had told me a year ago that I would be speaking in public, I'd have laughed in their face. Like I remember it was last summer, I was at an event with my mentor, and somebody was live on Facebook there, and they just kind of wanted me to do a talk on something, and I choked and could not speak at all. Just had to get it. Couldn't do it. And another thing I found out was a belief that actually belonged to my mother that I was holding on to. Was she believed that if she didn't go out in full makeup and look her best all the time, people would step on her and she would get ignored. So I was always taught, like I can remember at 8 years old watching Saturday morning cartoons, mom coming out and saying, "You're a little pale, honey, you should put some lipstick on," you know, like I'm 8, who cares? Right. And so then this spring, when that came, I had some health issues coming up, and so I was unable to wear makeup. And that was really huge for me. So not only am I not wearing makeup, but then I'm doing live Facebook interactions without a stitch of makeup on, feeling incredibly vulnerable, but seeing these incredible results happening. And it's just the freedom. Oh my God, freedom.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's exactly right. And that's what I say, or what I've observed, or my take on it is that like this is about the 562nd production. and you know, so we've had people do light language, and all these things are activators, you know, telling stories or whatever. They're all activators, but the biggest activator is just the human to human in that moment, just saying, I don't know shit, you know, or I don't feel good, or this is what I went to see Abraham Hicks, and this is what happened, and I can't even remember what the hell went on, you know. These and it's not like, you know, you're reading a book and going, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, it's not like that. It's like the pure heart expressions and exchanges are what is contagious and activate us and further us on this path quicker and really with more ease and grace than anything else.
Yeah. And to see the ripple effect, because I noticed, you know, the more people start speaking and talking, the more people start speaking and talking, and it's growing exponentially, and it's phenomenal. It's amazing.
Thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And again, like Abraham said, I got to stop being amazed by it and start expecting. Don't be amazed when good things happen to you.
Yeah.
It's supposed to happen that way.
You know, I'm having this parallel right now, and this is reminding me of it. It's a mindset. When I was 34, I think I filed bankruptcy. I had 3 businesses, and I started and lost money, made money, lost money, and all that stuff. So for me, because that's the trip I was on, I thought that's what I was supposed to do, you know, and be the you know, the gatherer and the hunter and all that stuff. So I ended up I was in the construction business, and I ended up I had $1,000 left. I bought $1,000 truck, and I bought some business cards. And I went to all the hospitals and big companies in my town, which I'd never done before. And I didn't have the, you know, insurance, and I didn't have the track record, and but I just knocked on the door and said, this is what I can do. So my point is that after about 6 weeks, I ended up getting this contract, which was about $500,000. And I ended up getting a check and I don't have a pot to piss in. All right. I get a check for 110 grand, and I'm in business, right? And I have a project, you know. But my point is when it happened, I didn't freak out. It was like, and then to a point, I need to make a point. I started chanting, which I had no idea. You know, I started chanting during this time period as I was doing this every afternoon. So anyway, the point is when it happened, it was like an expectation. It was like, okay, it was like just smooth transition, seamless.
Like, so there now, you are.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Yeah. And so now, that's how I kind of feel right now. Is like, I come back up here to New York. I put some feelers out. Some people are sending me some good leads on people and venues, and I see this same kind of energy happening, and I'm trying to stay in that space of not like expecting. I wouldn't say that's the word. Certainly not surprised, but just in this space of worthiness. Worthiness. That's it. The title of your show. The title of your show. Worthiness.
Awesome and amazing, and it's going to be perfect or better than you've already put into your imagination. It's going to exceed your expectations because the universe is perfect, and so you're going to get what you want or better. Yeah,
I like what you said too about the focus. If your focus is if your focus, my passport got denied.
Oh,
on the 31st, right? It was an energetic representation of all that energy that I expelled, and but the minute it happened, and I started crying. I was at Zaveta's business because it was mailed there. She handed it to me. I saw it. I walked into the Da Vinci spiral. I closed the gate, and I just started crying. But I wasn't like going, "Oh my God!" Da, da, da. It wasn't like that. And even and then Lori English came in, and she said, "Are you all right?" And I said, and I'm crying, you know. And I said, "Yeah." And but the point is that even through that energetic, you know, whatever that is, embodiment of the emotions, I knew everything was going to be fine. I know I'm going to get it. I know everything's going to be okay. And so you know, I like what you said about the focus, because if you take that example and the individual just said, oh my God, I didn't get it, I'm never going to get it, then that's what you're going to get. But if your focus is, you know, and I think in a kind of a natural, relaxed way, if I knew it was going to be okay. So that immediately moved that out. And maybe it won't be exactly what you were looking for, but like you said, it'll be that or something better, you know?
Exactly. Like maybe something will happen where you don't even have to pay for the passport.
Yeah. Or maybe, you know, it could be anything. It could be anything. I woke up this morning, I had read, and there's been some prolific stuff put out in the last few days. You know, Lisa Transcendence Brown, Morgan put one out yesterday that was really cool, humanizing what's happening. Grace Solaris. I mean, all this stuff. And one of the things that I'm picking up on overall is they're talking about different timelines, but in a different way than we've been listening to or hearing or reading over the last few months. So I wake up this morning and I open my eyes and I look around the room and I'm like, you know, putting some posts into Soulogy, because that's what I do, you know. And then I close my eyes and all of a sudden I'm still in the room. And the walls go this way and the ceiling goes up and I see this little elf walking across the floor and the little fairy going across. And so what could happen with where we're at now, we don't know. But what could happen is we could actually see the physicality of these dimensions. And I think we already are. And it's moving more rapidly, because if you look at a passport, or if you look at a law, or you look at a regulation, or whatever the case is, these are not real. There are no borders in the universe. So why the hell would there be any here?
Exactly. You know? Yeah. So all the borders would be broken down.
Yeah, right here. Right here. I will not serve. I will not serve I refuse to participate. And it's really, that is back to the Abraham Hicks thing. That is our vortex. Our vortex, the contrast has done its job.
Exactly. You know, you wouldn't know if you liked Coke or Pepsi unless you had sampled both. Right?
That's right.
It's all an experience.
Yeah. So what was the biggest thing you took away from the Abraham Hicks deal?
That if I want to attract certain things, I have to believe, knowing and believing that I'm worthy, I have to stop acting from a lack mindset. Yeah. Which really kind of surprised me. So the first thing I did when I got home, which it was a little scary, was I raised my rates. So, and it wasn't, because if I want to attract a millionaire to get services like my healing services or whatever I can provide for them, they're not going to go for the one who's charging $40 an hour, right? Like if you look at Tony Robbins, for example, you know, he pays thousands of dollars because he's worth it, and he knows he's worth it. Yeah. Right. So I was like, okay, so I upped my rates. So because you can't put a price on my time, and it has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with the energy that I am, I'm giving, and that some people need to give of themselves so that they can receive what they're looking for.
Yeah. And this is a great example of a great topic. Okay. Because, and going back to what you said, what you just said is only important to you. You see, you don't have to prove it to anyone else, because I saw some of this with some high profile people been talking about this stuff for the last few days. I've been talking about the 5D commerce that I'm receiving. That's important to me. I'm taking baby steps with it. But I'm getting it, and I'm pretty sure I know how I'm going to do this thing. But that's for me. And like you said, it's an energetic thing. It has nothing to do with, you know, this person's not going to charge anything. That's their thing. This person is going to say, you just whatever you want to give me. or whatever the case is. What's important is you found your alignment or aligning with it, or however you want to put it, and it's important to you. So if anybody says anything, it's your choice. It's your choice to be disempowered. And like we talked about earlier, if you're going to go, I'm not saying you are, because you're not, but if I or anyone is going to go and try to get people to tell us, oh yeah, you're doing the right thing, that's disempowering too. That's disempowering too. So what you're saying is you're taking your power.
Yeah. Because I'm worth it. Right. Yeah. And if I want anyone else to, like, I have given away so many freebies, right? And it's not that I regret any of that. I've seen some amazing things happen, and I haven't gotten paid for a lot, most of it actually. But by doing that, I was attracting more of that.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
So by
and here's the thing, big word, Morgan taught me a long time ago in the Ascension. The big word is reset. So even if you've started down this path, or I've started down this path as we try to transition into what we'll call 5D plus commerce or whatever, exchange or whatever, we may reset. Reset, but it's important that you honor and respect the energy that you're speaking of, which is, like you said, it's my energy. So that's a really good lesson. And I just want to say too, we first met, you were on Jennifer Hawley's show when she was doing it. And you had an incredible story, and having an incredible story of having cured yourself from very serious multiple illnesses. And you actually were just on the tail end of this as you started broadcasting with Soulogy. You know, because I remember you were going to the doctor that day, and they were going to this and that and all that. But I mean, I don't even have to ask you, because I can see it in you, and it is the validation and verification right before anyone's eyes. No one has to ask you. All they have to do is look in your eyes, see your smile, and so it works. And this is the same. It's the same thing as what you're talking about with your work and your value and worthiness. Back to the title of the show.
Because when you're like, I was 27 when I was put off on a pension, and that's that hurt. It sucked. It's like so. At the time, I felt as though everything had been taken away from me and I had no power. And then I spent 7 years in bed. And then that's when I'm like, okay, time to start reading and get myself out of this funk, because this is not fun. I'm not having fun anymore. Then I started, studying Reiki and finding my power and remembering who I am and that I am worthy of certain things. And then life just took a drastic turn and then when I took the Theta healing courses, like it was just that first day that our teacher had said, okay, we're going to start off with a dance. And that was such a pivotal moment for me, because Sasha, sorry.
It's all right.
It was such a pivotal moment, because what I would have done up until that point was say, I have MS, I can't dance. I didn't do that. Nobody there knew me. They had no idea. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to stand up and sway side to side and hope I don't knock anybody over or whatever.
Fall down.
So I did. So nobody knew anything about my health or anything. So that was huge for me. It was huge. And it was that song from Justin Timberlake, I Got This Feeling, right? So, and it's all about your feelings. So I went with it. And the next day we were learning how to do group healing sessions. And I was chosen to be the recipient, right? So like, yay me. And so they're cultivating the unconditional love in the theta state, and there's one practitioner that is directing the energy. And when she had the energy drop, I just all of a sudden felt big. Like I just kind of went like I can't explain it any other way than that. I just kind of felt Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And I'm like, well, this is okay, you know, just went with it. And I fully expected to be in bed the next week recovering from taking the course. It was the first time in 15 years I had done anything from 8 to 5, right? So this was kind of huge for me. And so then when the Monday came and it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I was on my third load of laundry in my basement, which I usually don't go up and down the stairs on because it always hurt to go up and down the stairs, right? So here I'm like, oh my God, it's Monday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm in my basement on my third load of laundry and my legs were not on fire for the first time in 15 years.
Wow.
I was like, you know, like when you go to the gym and you do the squats, that burning.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that every day of my life that I can, and then it just wasn't there. And I'm like, this is awesome. And I'm like, I wonder if I can jump, right? Because I never did that before. So I tried. I got off the ground. I tried again. I got a little bit higher. I started laughing and jumping and laughing. And then I lost my balance and fell on a paint can. And my husband comes running and he's like, oh no. And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's a good thing I can do.
And now you can dunk. And now you can dunk a basketball.
Yeah, I haven't tried that, but I think I will.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I just wanted to revisit that because I don't know if everyone knows that.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, and let's just say this too, and everybody has, and I see a comment here and there, but I think the important message, what I'm getting as a member of the audience, that I'm representing the audience here. I feel this is your show, is that it is, as so many people have been pointing out to us for so long. It's energy. So the same energy that you gain clarity on from the Abraham Hicks thing, and that converted to, in one case, and converted to your passion, your work, what we call passion, is the same energy that quote unquote healed you, and you were able to do those things for the first time in 15 years. So it's important, and I think it's also important to continue to express and communicate these things, not because you or I or whoever does it has to be right. It's not about that. It's right. It's alignment. It's just alignment of the heart. This is what's good for me, and this is what I'm doing. So on that note, I want to explain that the shows that we do, that we produce for others like you, or Jeff Cloud, or Katie Indicrow, we ask the host, to the originator like you, to put up their PayPal in the comments, and that's energetically what I understand is alignment. We've been doing this for quite some time. We're also paying forward with what we're starting to get in Soulogy through the regular shows, and I think this is part of the 5D commerce. So I'm looking forward to expanding it, and I guess embodying it and actually materializing, at least from our end of the universe, what is the new form of commerce, or the universal commerce that the rest of the universe uses, except for here. But we're changing that. So I just want to thank you for your service, and let everybody know that, you know, if you don't know, Michele has a show every Tuesday, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And you can also find the shows on YouTube. And we have a new computer. Thank you, Katie Indicrow, and everyone that made contributions, which is going to make it easier for us to start getting to the next level. And you know, so I just wanted to share that with everybody. I'm not sure if there's any more shows today. I guess I'll see you next Wednesday. There's a whole bunch of them lined up the next few days. Next Tuesday. I'm sorry.
What's that?
I said next Tuesday, not Wednesday.
Yes.
Took me like 6 weeks to get the times and dates right.
I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of the place.
And that's a great point. Belinda Frank says PayPal contributions are great. You can give what you want to give, and it is. And I tell people this all the time. You know, so much of what we receive, and I'm sure the host of the shows we produce receive, they're, by human standards, nominal contributions, but it's not the amount. It is the energy, the same energy that quote unquote healed you, the same energy that you're fortifying and putting into motion with your passion. It's energy. That's what's important. We can't judge it by 3D. There is no judging. It's the pure heart, unconditional love, intentional heart expressions, and that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're all worth it.
We're worthy. We're worthy. It's a nice hour. I enjoyed it. Tell Sasha I said hi, give her a hug and a third eye kiss. And
I will.
happy to come on this week with you. I've been watching you, and I really enjoy your shows. I don't get to watch it much, but I just have to look at the energy in it, and of course the response. You guys, thank you all for joining us, and I'm going to be there's a bunch of posts of new shows that are coming up today, I think beginning tomorrow, and I'm about to put up some more through Saturday. We're going to really jam it up, so check out who's coming on, and if you want to check out the conversation, then just click the get reminder and it'll pop up on your device. I'll see you later, Michelle. Love you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Todd.
Peace out, everybody.
Comments.
Do that. Okay. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's still on.
I know. I see that.
Well, it's not me. It's Be Live. Here it goes.